Hello YouTube, we are back. Whew, I am exhausted already. I'm doing two videos back to back on very racial driven subjects. I just got finished darn on making a video on Hazel E. So now we're here to talk about another non-relevant bitch, but at least has some talent. Okay, so I might have a little bit more energy in this video, especially since it's talking on a subject that's so close to home. We're talking about Waka Flocka. And no, he's not of my home at all while he's darn on pretending to be of the damn culture. And we about to get into that. What I mean by so close to home is obviously y'all know I'm a black person with Native American ancestry. My family is of Cherokee descent. I have a ton of close friends of various tribes. There are legitimate Blackfoot Indian. There are legitimate Lumbee Indian that have tribal roots, that knows about their organizations, you know, where the actual tribes and stuff are located. While you have people who wouldn't know nothing about the symbolism, don't know nothing about the culture at all, and want to scream that they Native American now. So let's get on into it. Let's get into this darn going Waka Flocka now joining the Black People Club of I'm not darn gone black, I'm Native American. Let's get into how this really hurts both of the communities. So first and foremost, let me show you how it hurts the Native American community before I tell y'all how it hurts the black community. So with Native American, it's not just DNA. It's about the culture of Native American. It's about, you know, what are you doing for your people? Because a lot of people like to say they're Native American until it's time to be Native American. Um, and then I get, and some people are making excuses for it. I even see pro-black people making excuses talking about, oh, I see the logic of where they're trying to go. They're trying to, you know, claim indigenous to the land so as a way to have a come up on white supremacy to show that we're here. Okay. I don't see how that works. And out of all these black pages, I thought one person would catch, but you know, since they are more phenotypically black and don't have no native lineage, but still, you wouldn't have to have any Native American lineage to know that Native Americans do not have no privileges. Where are all these motherfucking privileges that y'all are talking about that we have? You know, Native Americans, let me go ahead and give you a little tip. You don't get, there's no special benefits. There's no casinos. That's just typical darn on fairy tales that you hear about Native Americans. That if you're of Native American descent, you automatically got casinos. You automatically got grants from the government. You got specialized education. Now we do have our form of grants and stuff. However, is no different than with HBCUs. Matter of fact, I have a higher chance because not number one, I'm more dominantly black, but black people make up a larger population and have more pool. Matter of fact, as a black person, we make up $1 trillion in spending power. So we have far more access to grants, and we have HBCUs that are federally recognized and has a lot more money to give to fellow black people than what Native Americans have. So just because it's exclusive, because you know we're obviously in the minority, does not mean that it makes up the majority of money, if that makes sense. So I think because of the fact that it's so exclusive and Native Americans, we, you know, make up 2% of the population, especially the pure. Because I'm not even, as you can tell, not with this luscious afro baby. I'm serving up black African pride, honey. Um, I'm not nowhere pure. But still, you know, where is all this coming from? And people, and so because the story kept flip flopping. But let's get into. But once again, the fact that it harms the community, because once again, with all these so-called black people who are Native American, I want to darn go and do a little PSA. Okay, you're not black no more. You're Native American. What have you done for your culture lately? How come at Standing Rock I did not see hardly no black people? I did not see Waka Flocka down there. I did not see Bow Wow down there. I did not see any of the for us for every other black person to be some sort of Blackfoot Indian, and I get and they always use Blackfoot, but then when you ask where they located at, it's always in a state where Blackfoot weren't in. They say something off the wall like they from the West Coast, and darn on Blackfoot ain't in from there. They can't even tell you the tribal darn on name. What's y'all flag? What's y'all symbols? Come on. You telling me you grew up so much immersed with the Blackfoot, you can't tell us nothing about the culture. You grew up around Cherokee, but ain't none of y'all got nail bit of accent. Ain't none of y'all from the Carolinas. Y'all know I'm born and raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I have relatives up near Asheville, all throughout, Halifax and everything else. So we spread all the way out through the Carolinas. You hear this accent very well, but then you hear somebody with a Yorkie accent like darn on Shad Moss trying to all of a sudden say you darn on Native American though. And then you wonder why Native Americans still don't get nowhere. Because once again, I'm still trying to figure out what is so special about Native American that you're trying to claim. And yeah, so getting on to how it hurts black people. How come you just can't be both? I mean, let's say you was biracially, which none of these two are. Shad Moss and Waka Flocka, neither one of them are biracial. Because I heard, we first thought Shad Moss' father was Native, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I do know a lot of full-blown Native Americans who have that look like Shad Moss' father through the picture. Once we seen him in real life, he looked like he could be Creole. He looked at very fair tone, red bone complexion and all that. So I can see where the confusion could lie with him. Now I don't know what about Waka Flocka's father, but we know both of them are not black. And then the fact that he kept flipping the story. First, because at first some people was trying to make the argument that he was trying to say, no, he's Native American in the sense of black people, the Olmecs, and let's talk about the Olmecs. Now, I did my research on the Olmecs, and from what I'm hearing from tons of people, now I'm not an expert on the subject. Now, y'all know I do got a background in minority studies, but it wasn't as concentrated when it comes to the Olmec tribes. I know about all the other tribes of Native Americans. I know about various Caribbean tribes. I know about, my tribes, but I don't know about the Olmecs. But from all the articles that I've seen, they said the history was only about 4,000 years old. But they the first natives that came here though before black people. So I don't get that. So and I want y'all to share this to people who are more into because I don't claim to know this. I'm a fairly conscious person, but I'm not as well versed in this subject. So if y'all can, tag Cynthia G and them in this video and ask them the question of how is the Olmecs the first ones here when all the history that I'm seeing as far as documents are showing 2 to 4,000 years ago. Now the Native Americans that were here through the Bering Strait, which was over 20,000 years ago. But for whatever reason, we don't go past Egyptian times. People always want to think Egyptian 7,000 years ago. They don't think pre-Egypt. They don't think about the other areas within Africa outside of Egypt. We just act like other areas did not exist in the world. Now, granted, many, many, many eons ago, there was Pangea. So essentially, everybody has a little derivative of African descent. But after a certain amount of time, due to genetic, mutation and adaptation, and natural selection, all that plays a part in how we became genetically different over times, and it came to 6 different races of people. You got Africanoid, you got Australianoid, you got Mongoloid, which represents Asia, uh, and then you got Americanoid, which is Native American, which is independent of. So of course, all people share the common ancestry of the Eve gene from Africa. However, since then, we are genetically different. And we cannot just all say we're all just one of the human species. No, we're not one human species. Due to the division over the years and of how science plays a role in the development of the human body and people over so many, centuries and millenniums, we have become 6 different forms species, if you want to get technical. Like I said, you got Mongoloid, you got Australianoid, you got you got Mongoloid, Australianoid, the Americanoid, Africanoid, and I feel like for some odd reason, Caucasianoid. I knew I was getting somebody out. The Caucasus Mountain, honey. That's something else that surprisingly he was claiming as well. So yeah, first he went and tried to make the story that he was of the America. He was the black people that were here before the Native Americans. And I get that logic to a certain extent. Yes, black people were visiting Americans long before Christopher Columbus. That is a historic fact. Um, black, they make it seem like we were so illiterate that we could not build ships that were capable of coming to America. Yet we built America pretty much from the ground up. We are the ones that came out with the traffic light as black people. We was the ones that invented the tools for open heart surgery. We modified the version of the light bulb. We came up with the hair care products. We came up with Black Hollywood and all this, that, and the third. We pretty much built America. We had the Black Wall Street. And back in our times, we had the pyramids and constructions so advanced that you to this day you still don't know how the pyramids in Africa were made. But it's so hard to believe that we weren't able to invent ships, because some people say because we didn't have access to steel. Okay, but you act like Africans weren't trading back before the Europeans took over the darn on Atlantic slave trade movement. I swear, it's certain people that go and distort history and act like, somebody like me don't know the darn on truth. So I get what he was trying to say about black people were here um, before we was brought over here during slavery. However, to go and say 98% of Africans here today are not from the slave trade is a very gross fallacy. And the reason why is because if that was the case, there would be a common DNA strain. Because, like I said, there is a certain form of genetic adaptation that happens over so many centuries and millenniums that separate us. However, if that was somehow true of an incident like that as of so recent as several hundred years ago, we should all essentially 98% of black American people should have a common a certain unique DNA strand that will be proprietary to us outside of Africa if that statement is true. If you're going to make the claim that 98% of us are not of the America, and we were here. It's not of Africa, and we were here first. There should be a common DNA strand between us. It's almost similar to like, even though the Taino Indians have been wiped out, every Puerto Rican can separate themselves from any other Hispanic group because they have the common DNA strand that shares the common ancestry linked to the Taino Indians that used to inhabit the island of Puerto Rico. Same thing for Aztec Indians. They can now you do have Aztec Indians that are still alive today. But even with Mexicans, they can separate themselves from any other Hispanic group with most of their Native American DNA is going to have genetic similar ties to that of Aztec Indian. Now, of course, you have to do very advanced form of testing to get your Pacific tribe. You got to go to your actual reservation for more advanced DNA testing. You're not going to get that on Ancestry. So if you think you're going to find that on Ancestry.com or GeoMatch, you're sadly mistaken. The only thing they have access to is of showing that you are of the Americas, but they DNA database is not as extensive as if you was to go directly on the reservation. Something that darn going Waka Flocka would know and would easily know how to prove if he was legitimately of darn going Cherokee descent. But since he's not, why he's darn going putting on the front, he don't know nothing about that. And so yeah, it hurt the Native Americans that way, and I felt bad for it. I mean, I personally felt offended on that note because you're claiming darn going full blown Native American lineage, which will essentially make you prejudiced because you're using racial epithets in your music. And once again, Lovely T hit it on the head. Okay, all these black people who want to claim full-blown Native American, you do know that you're just as wrong as white people. How can y'all still be holding a grudge on Iggy Azalea to this day for appropriating black culture, yet you have so-called non-black people now who are still in the rap industry glorifying off of black culture? So my thing is this: why is it acceptable for you, who claims that you're everything but black, to darn on profit off of black money? But Iggy Azalea, who I don't think ever disrespected any black person and is never claimed to take in of the culture or anything, came and authentically showed her whiteness. I don't think she ever was on no Rachel Docile type shit. And she got ran back to Australia by darn on Bratz, busted darn on Bratz dog called Barbie, honey. But then you got Waka Flocka saying, and this is where the contradiction come in. You went from the Olmecs to darn on saying you of Cherokee descent, then a tribe called Redtail. Now that's a new one on me. Y'all tell me about Redtail Indian. I did not even take time to research that tribe, and no disrespect, I'm back, y'all. Excuse the outfit change. It's been another day. Needless to say, I got a knock on the door of a package to arrive. Then my mother got off of work early. Well, she typically gets off at 3 anyway, but she said she was staying over at 8. They decided to cancel that. So yeah, those reasons I ended the video early yesterday. We left off talking about the confusion of Waka Flocka claiming that he's the original black Native American before the other Native Americans came here. But then his grandmother told him that they're German and Dominican, which are, Dominican is derivative of Africa in Spanish. And then German is European. So you done named 2 Europeans in you. And you named you named African Dominican, but you know how them Dominicans get down. But you still claim that you don't have no African ancestry, but Dominicans' ancestry have substantial African roots. So, but some people are giving him a pass. I don't understand it. I just don't. And then I actually took some time to call up my I called up my cousin yesterday about redtail, right? Because I guess it's a good thing the video ended early because I was able to act, because I don't know everything about. I said now, I never heard of redtail Indian. Y'all remember me saying that yesterday? I said I don't know about redtail Indian. I know Catawba. I know about accordion. I know about Cherokee. I know about the state recognized Lumbee in North Carolina. But I said now Now, even tribes that I cannot pronounce, which I'm not trying to butcher a lot of names. That's why I'm not naming as many tribes that I know. I know about 20 plus tribes offhand, especially close to the Carolinas. Now, Waka Flocka, you in Durham, Georgia, and I ain't never heard of redtail Indian. So I said, girl, what is redtail Indian? And you talking about the folklore? I'm like, what you talking about the folklore? She was like, it's the story of the red-tailed hawk and the eagle and how the red-tailed hawk became smaller than the eagle. They used to be the same. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said you should be able to pull it up on Google. Darn on grandma, because my auntie is her grandma. So she was like, yeah, we used to hear that story all the time about. I didn't hear the story about the red-tailed hawk. So I actually looked up the red-tailed hawk, and there is actually a Native American story. So I guess this is one good thing coming out of darn on Waka Flocka darn on long laundry list of motherfucking lies. He's darn on pulling up Native American folklore and making it seem like it's actually a modern day tribe. So I said this bitch is actually quoting Native American folklore. But there ain't never in the history actually been a tribe called Redtail Indian. It's from the folklore Redtail Hawk. I said, oh my God, is you motherfucking serious right now? Are you serious? His grandmother darn on talking about they got a little bit of red tail in them. Yet the story I heard was from the red tail hawk and how it became smaller than the eagle. Now I already knew about the spiritual symbolism of what the red hawk represents in general, bringing awareness and guidance. So I guess he got confused about what his grandmother was trying to say with red tail hawk and ran with it and made it seem like it was a tribe. But the hawk brings a rareness and wakeness. And since he so-called supposed to be woke now, he got that darn on comparison all the way wrong. Because the way it came off was, it sounded like he was saying that he was of Cherokee and redtail descent. But I was telling y'all, I don't know no damn redtail Indians. And y'all know I got to put on me some little bit of image or medic right quick. I felt my lips getting dry, y'all. Y'all is not going to play with me. I seen my darn gone. I looked back at my video of me at the damn mall. I said, oh, God, now why nobody didn't tell me, like, Juan, we love you, we do now. But you need the darn on, why you go out there to that mall and them lips wasn't exfoliated? Now, y'all can tell me when my lips are slipping now. I think my lips good. But anyways, back to Miss Darn on Coffee Cooler. Darn on lips acting like he ain't darn on black. Lips bigger than me, honey. Darn on lips more juicy, more black on the top than me, but you ain't black. If you don't sit the fuck down trying to claim Native American folklore and darn on talking about it's a motherfucking tribe, bitch, you need to sit your ass all the way goddamn. I don't got nothing more for why. I'm a little bit more amped up in this video because we need to talk about something else. But yeah, I don't got nothing more to say about Waka Flocka and his confused ass. But like I said, this ain't good for. Damn, who is messaging me? Okay, that can wait. But anyways, yeah, he needs to sit his ass down, getting down on quotes and shit all the way the fuck wrong. Nicki Minaj is doing a comparison, a collab. Now what? I might have to do a video on Cardi B yet again. Because now they saying Cardi B is doing a collab with Nicki Minaj. And then she's doing a video with Beyonce too. See, and I don't got nothing against the girl personally. But yeah, the black people, we don't put darn on Cardi B on this darn on level. 4 weeks at number one. She currently at number 2 now. Darn on Waka Flocka. Still darn on being able to be in that rap industry under Mother Dale. Now I'm trying to figure out, he bypassed Mother Dale and claimed everything but Mother Dale. Y'all give me y'all thoughts on this. I just can't wrap my head around this. He done insulted and he done insulted my culture 2 times over because you insulted me as a black person. You insulted me as a Cherokee. Then you can't even get the darn on tails right. And then you bring up some make-believe tribe. I go converse with my cousin, find out the shit was a darn on childhood folklore that I never heard of. Cause I grew up more so around on my African folklores and shit. We grew up more so on what's that book? Win Dixie, some shit. Like we grew up on those type of books, the Oprah Winfrey collection and all that. Not saying that like I said, I learned about this astrological symbols and all of that. Um, but mostly I grew up with more so my African roots and heritage. So with that being said, I still knew something was off. But yeah, y'all tell me about that shit down below. Just some bullshit. Like I said, don't do nothing for the African community. And you act like and once again, Standing Rock, Lumberton, North Carolina, Poison Water, in the darn on Lumbee River. So what are you doing for the Native Americans while you claiming Native Americans? And that's what I was trying to make my point yesterday. You want to claim indigenous, but you don't understand that white people don't give a fuck about indigenous people. You could be indigenous to the land and they will still darn gonna treat you like you should have just been eradicated. They darn going have no regards for Native Americans at all. So I don't understand what black folk claiming full-blown Native American lineage would do when we see that you could be 100% Native American and still get fucked over. It does not matter what your ethnicity is. You're not white. So in their eyes, you're not in the right. If you are Asian, they might give you a lot more leeway. Asians do got some privileges to a certain extent. But if you are dark-skinned, Hispanic, Latino, and below, bitch, you got to go. And soon as darn going minorities realize that overall, that you might get some special privileges here and there if you are Cardi B. But at the end of the day, when it's time to compare Cardi B to, let's say, Coco, Ice-T's wife, Coco's going to get the most privileges. Like, what part of that don't you understand? Your wife, how light-skinned that she is, if it's a choice between her and Coco, Coco is actually going to get it. Even though Coco is not damn Coco. Come on now. And once again, my ladies of all different hues. My light-skinned sisters, my dark-skinned sisters. Even my non-black sisters who watch me. I want to know y'all thoughts on this darn on shit right here. Y'all go ahead and leave it. I actually don't have nothing else to say towards darn on Waka Flop at this darn on point in the game. But I felt that this conversation was needed on this darn on topic once and for all. Addressing darn on Native Americans with this darn on Olmecs. Because once again, I'm going to pull up Olmecs right now. I don't even see Olmecs being... it keeps telling me 4,000 years ago. Now, the Native Americans, I keep telling you, came here over 20,000 years ago. I don't know why we just can't say that we coexist here peacefully. I don't understand that shit. I'm going to type it once again. Olmec tribe. Honey, why did it take me to some sort of darn on pills? Okay, the mysterious Olmec civilization prospered in pre-classical formative Mesoamerica. 1200 BCE to 400 BCE before Christ existed, just in case y'all did not know. And Chile is considered the forerunner of all subsequent Mesoamerican cultures such as the Maya and Aztecs. Okay, they still don't compare them to the Eskimos. That compares them to the Native Americans down near the Gulf. Do y'all not know the Native Americans were not just America? You have Guatemala, you got Venezuela, you got darn going Mexico and everywhere else. And y'all are comparing it based off of data that says 1200 BCE to darn on 400 BCE. Do you not know that is a relatively short period of time compared to 20,000 BCE? Once again, you can't teach these ignorant motherfuckers nothing. I'm done. I'm done with Waka Flocka. Y'all go ahead and leave y'all darn on stuff below. I'm not about to darn. I can't. I can't.